Hey students, welcome to my next instructional video on the conditional clauses. And I think before we start off talking about the three different types of conditional clauses that the English language has, and there are even more, but the three basic ones, we have to first understand what the word condition really means. Now, what the word condition inside a conditional clause means is that in order for something to happen, there's something else that needs to happen first. So in order for this to happen, this needs to happen first so that the other thing can take place as well. Now what I've done, I've written down three sentences on the board that all look quite the same, but there are some minor differences between the three, and the message that's being put forth or being conveyed inside these sentences, there are quite different. So let's get down to it and see if you understand what the differences are between these three. Okay. So let's start off with the first one. Here it says the sentence, if we leave now, we will be on time. The second one, it says, if we left now, we would be on time. And the third one, it says, hey, if we had left earlier, then we would have been on time. Now, what happens in the first sentence is that the condition here is that if we leave now, which is the condition, if we leave now, if that happens, if we leave now and that happens, then we will be on time. The chances of you being on time if you leave now, well, I guess pretty much is almost 100%. So that's what you're saying. But you have to leave now. And if you don't, then you won't be on time. The second one is a little different. It says if we left now, we would be on time. So what you notice is that you go from a certain tense, which is the word leave, which is a present simple. Now we go to a past simple and left. So if you go from a present to a past, it's quite obvious that the chances of this happening is going to be slimmer, is going to be smaller. So if you go from leave present to left past, then it also changes the fabric of the sentence in a way that you're saying that the chances of this happening are not as big as in sentence number one. And the same, of course, goes for the second part of the sentence. So what we use here is a present simple, and we go to a past simple in sentence number two. We go from 100% to less of a chance, and here we go from will plus the full verb, the infinitive, to would plus the full infinitive, the full verb. And of course, as you should know, I hope you know, would is the past tense form of the word will. Now we can take this one step further to imply that something really didn't happen. So what you're saying is that chances of this happening are really 0%. Why? Because it simply did not happen. You already know because it's in the past. So in sentence number three, a person says, hey, but if we had left earlier, but we did not leave earlier because we were stuck in traffic or we were preparing way too long, then we would have been on time. But we know we're not on time because we're late to the party. I can see this. I've been keeping track of time, so I know that we're late. That's why we should have left earlier. So what happens here is that you go from a present simple here to a past simple here to what we call a past perfect, the form of had plus the past participle, to a past perfect in the third sentence, which means that you use a past tense which is even more kind of way back into the past, meaning that the chances of this happening are 0%. And the same happens here. You go from would be to the past tense form of the word would even. So even more way back than would is the tense form. So kind of you're putting modal verbs into the past tense, going from would to would have been on time. Yeah. Okay. So what we do here is in sentence one, we have the present simple that's used. Sentence number two, we have the past simple, and sentence three, we have the past perfect. All right, and please do notice that's the final thing that's really important to pick up on. Of course, other than going from 100% chance if the condition is met to 0%, that the word if and the word will or would, please never ever put them either together in front or after the comma, because that's an absolute 100% no-no. So you would never say something like, if we would leave now, we would be on time. Yeah, don't do it. Would leave is turned into left. and not into would leave. It is a mistake that even lots of native English speakers make. Well, I'm not saying it frustrates me, but it's something that we should try to avoid as much as possible. Okay, well, thank you for watching. I hope everything is clear. And if you have any questions, then make sure you contact me. All right.